In the Senate today, the Greens tried to pass a motion condemning Israel and imposing sanctions against it, including against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Greens were supported by the former Labor senator, now independent Fatima Payman. Not a motion condemning the atrocities of Hamas, not a motion demanding the release of the remaining hostages, more than 100 of them still held in Gaza. No, a motion targeting the region's only democracy, which is fighting for its very survival. This comes as there was more fallout from the issue I highlighted yesterday. You'll remember the ASIO Director General Mike Burgess incredibly said on the weekend that refugees from Gaza might be allowed into this country even if they support Hamas.
If they're giving financial support or material aid, that can be a problem, and obviously we take each case on its merits in the context of the information we have before us.
But if it's just rhetorical support?
If it's just rhetorical support and they don't have an ideology or support for a violent extremism ideology, then that's not a problem. If they have a support for that ideology, that will be a problem.
That was astonishing, and senior Liberals are now seeking assurances from the government that this will not happen.
We're seeing this at a time when countries like Germany, a like-minded country to Australia, is expelling Hamas supporters.
The department needs to be directed to not approve the visa of any person who can be identified to be as a supporter of a terrorist organisation.
Now, this is a crucial and serious issue for national security, of course, but it's also has the potential to play strongly into electoral politics. Today, in the seat of Watson, which is held by the Home Affairs and Immigration Minister Tony Burke, an Egyptian-born Muslim doctor announced his candidacy as an independent. Ziad Bayouni said cost of living was his number one issue, but the nail in the coffin that pushed him into politics was the Middle East.
The failure of our government to represent, the failure of our member to represent the values that are being practiced here in the community regarding human rights and what's happening in Gaza. 40,000 people, probably more, have died, have been killed. This has been called a plausible genocide by the ICJ. Yet, not represented, not heard.
Now, Labor could hardly have been softer in its support for Israel or more tolerant of pro-Palestinian activists and protesters or more accepting of refugees from Gaza, yet still it faces this backlash from some Muslim communities. This new independent, who says he has no official backing from the Muslim Votes organisation, he says he's not affiliated with them, at least to this stage. Well, he wants more refugees from Gaza.
If you're in the Ministry of Immigration, you could probably grant some visas. You can probably find some ways to resettle Palestinians who are in Australia, so you can actually give them a chance to have a Medicare.
Now, while Bayouni makes the obvious point that people can be pro-Palestinian without supporting Hamas, he's happy for the authorities to keep terrorist sympathisers out.
I believe in due diligence. I believe in process. I'm sure that the Australian authorities would have their way of vetting candidates. If there is any members of a terrorist organisation should not be allowed here. I fear for my kids like I fear for everyone in the community.
This development comes as Sky News investigations reporter Jonathan Lee has interviewed a fundamentalist Muslim preacher in Sydney who expresses the hardline Islamist view that Muslims should ignore politics, that their own religion reigns supreme over democracy.
Allah himself has said that Muslims should not be involved in any system, whether it be democracy or otherwise.
So only Allah in your faith has the right to tell people what to do?
Correct. I believe deep down the Muslim leaders, even in Australia, know that what I'm saying is to be the truth.
Yeah, that is the very essence of Islamism. That is the ideology that we need to oppose in this country. Not Islam, not Muslims, but Islamists. Those who want to impose Sharia law and a caliphate rather than accept democracy and the rule of law. This debate will only intensify in the lead up to the election and as events unfold in the Middle East. And with independents citing the success of Dai, Lee and Fowler and the Teals across the country, they're talking up their chances.
It's a long-term project. It will happen. We will continue to hold you accountable. We cannot just be treated that way. Please, you need to listen to us. If you don't, we will come after you.
Look, the chances of success in this safe Labor seat are slim, to say the least. But the question is what impact all this has on Labor policy and on our general political debate. Jonathan Lee's special investigation airs tonight, right here on Sky at 7:30.